correct me if I'm wrong, David, but I remember Kasich was the guy who basically said, because he loves Jesus so much and probably more than everyone else, that's why he's fighting to expand Medicaid. And if we don't agree with him, well, then we're just bad Christians.
Oh, it was so bad. He actually went and he said in a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce meeting in response to a question, well, when people argue with me about expanding Medicaid in Ohio, I say there's this book. It's got an Old Testament and it's got a New Testament. And if you haven't read it or if you don't have one, I'll buy one for you. Could you imagine if a conservative said to someone questioning them about, say, abortion, if they adopted that condescending tone and said, well, I've got this book. It's got an Old Testament and a New Testament. There would be outrage because that's not persuasion, that's condescension.
Oh, completely. Condescension and just, I mean, that's kind of, it's a little bit blasphemous for him to present it that way. So he was saying that, I mean, I know he's waiting to get to Ohio because, I mean, Ohio's a state. He has a fairly good ground game, fairly good infrastructure built up in Ohio. But I mean, he's going to walk into a buzzsaw in South Carolina. Nobody likes him in South Carolina. I don't see him doing well in the SEC primary part of this primary season. I mean, that's even if he can get through the first. I don't see him going past Super Tuesday. I really don't.
Well, let's put it this way: the SEC will treat Kasich the way it treats most teams from the Big Ten. It's going to be a rout. It's going to be a blowout. I think the really interesting result from yesterday, aside from Kasich, because I think it's a complete flash in the pan, is how far down Marco Rubio fell.
Right.
He was beaten by Jeb Bush. Now, that's the other really big headline aside from Trump wins in a landslide. It's the fade of Marco Rubio, and that's going to have big ramifications on the race in South Carolina and in the SEC primary.